good afternoon, or good night, whatever time it is for you. I really hope that you are doing well today, and I hope that I'm finding you in a good energetic space. And even if you're not in a good energetic space, I'm hoping that this video will bring you forward into the space. So I just had a thought. I was thinking about this heavily, and I think I just need to express it because I learned recently that and overthinkers have blocked throat chakras, and I have notoriously my entire life been an overthinker to the point where my esophagus is permanently paralyzed because my throat chakra was shut down and blocked for so long that it damaged my physical reality. My physical reality was damaged because my spiritual was so blocked. But I'm not here to talk about that. I have videos about my medical condition on my channel. I'm here today to talk about not feeling bad for choosing yourself ever. Ever. Not apologizing for choosing yourself ever. I was put in a situation recently, not recently, I guess recently, but not too long ago, I went through like a dark night of the soul situation. So like I was really going through it. Like everyone went through their own COVID situation. My catalyst for my growth, for self-love, self-discovery, and just self-awareness and ownership came through the medium of a relationship. And it was not just any relationship, it was a karmic relationship. So it's like instantaneously when I met this person, I felt my soul connected to them. I felt my soul being seen, heard, understood. I felt my soul being like, this person is someone that you need to, like, literally my spirit told me that this is gonna help you with intimacy and companionship. What I didn't realize was how it was gonna help me with intimacy and companionship. I'm not gonna talk about the relationship here, but I will say that after and during the relationship, like I completely disassociated within, I basically, okay, I disassociated, like I'm pretty sure like a year of that relationship was me completely disassociating because I was just triggered constantly. I was walking on eggshells constantly. And it wasn't that the person wasn't coming from a loving place or a true and honest place. It was that obviously we made a soul contract in a past life for them to, you know, trigger me and love me in a way that'll help my evolution. Now, in a time, it didn't feel like that. It felt like shit. It felt terrible. I felt like everyone was against me. I felt like everyone hated me. I felt like, if you love me, why are you hurting me so much? And people aren't always trying to hurt you, you know, like, and I'm aware of that, but when people hurt you, it's for you. When people hurt you, it's something in you that is screaming for healing. And I sat with that. I embraced that. And I came forward knowing that I needed to choose myself. Now, I've always been aware. I've always been like an independent person. I did have some codependency issues because I was born with the shame gene, or like the trauma of shame. And I've talked about shame a lot to my friends and family, but you know, everyone says the same thing. Like, we all deal with shame in our own way, but like the depth of the shame that I felt so paralyzing and all consuming. I just felt like no one understood. And even when I talked about it, it was just like, oh, let's brush her off. She's not, it doesn't matter. I have my own shame to deal with, which is fine. It's relevant. Cool. You have to deal with your own shit. But then I came into a space energetically where I was like, I ended the relationship because there was no way. Like, you can't heal in the same place that you were, like, got sickened, and I was fucking sick. I was literally sick. Like, my beauty was fading, my mental health was deteriorating, and it wasn't the like I said, the other person was definitely a catalyst for this, but it wasn't their fault. It was all of the deep inner root work that I needed to do and I needed to handle. So I ended the relationship because I realized I have so much shit that I've never even seen come to the surface that I need to excavate it. I need to get it out of my body. I need to purge. I need to cleanse. Now, fast forward to the point that I'm trying to make. Do not ever feel bad for choosing yourself. When I did this, when I made this choice to end a relationship, of course, as with any relationship, when you love someone, you go back and forth, and then you're like, oh, wait, maybe I made the wrong choice, or maybe I should get back with them, or, oh, I love them, maybe we can work it out. But it's like, if you don't love yourself more than the idea of staying with some for the sake of keeping the love that they give you, that you're supposed to be giving yourself, you need to end the relationship. I'm not telling you to break up with your people. I'm just saying, for me personally, that's just how I rationalize it. So, and after ending a relationship, I was still reeling for a year. I was still reeling. I was still like going through the excavation of all my traumas. I was still dealing with the chaos and detriment of my mind, and just the lack, or just, it's not lack. It wasn't a lack mindset, because I was still getting abundantly blessed. It was, what is it called? What is the word I'm looking for? Destructive mindset. It was a deteriorating mindset. It was a disassociating mindset. It was choosing to be partially unaware when you know that you're aware, and then choosing to, it was like, it's basically like not having the proper coping mechanisms to deal with everything that was coming up, and also like not having the self-compassion, not being able to be a friend to myself. I realized in my healing journey that I've always been a loyal, true, honest friend. I've always like been a friend that can make people feel safe, seen, heard, understood. I always feel like a peaceful blanket, or like a sane, comforting, just understanding person. That's always what I projected out. I've always giving so much loyalty to other people. But I realized during my self-love and self-healing journey that I was always more loyal to other people than I was to myself. So I will back out on commitments to myself, but I would not back out on commitments to my friends. And then I'll be so deeply hurt when other people will cancel their commitments to me. And I had to realize that I was displacing the validation for loyalty in other people. I was displacing the validation for understanding and feeling seen and heard in other people. I was giving all of that energy. And I mean, like, giving it away. Like, it lights me up. It makes me feel good to bring people joy, to be of service, to bring value to someone's life, and to love them and to share with them. But it got to the point where it's like, what about me? And it's not like I'm not a people pleaser. I know how to set boundaries. I just never really gave that same energy to the same degree that I invested in my friendship. So I realized that I had never been a friend to myself. And it's like, okay, like, I love myself, but it wasn't the right type of love. It was just the love that I was taught to give. And during this process, you know, you get closer to spirit, you start to hear things, hear signs. And I have friends. But then there was like this one summer, and I just kept hearing the same voice in my head. Like, spirit was so loud, and spirit just kept saying two of my friends' names. Like, just kept saying, like, basically they gotta go. Like, you have to cut off all ties. You do not have the capacity to fill them up. You are empty. You're so empty. You're the emptiest you've ever been in your entire life. And it was such a weird feeling, but I listened, like, I just went quiet. I didn't say anything. I don't feel like you have to give a fucking announcement that you're going through shit. Like, you go quiet. You go inside of yourself. You heal yourself. You fix yourself. You fucking pour into yourself. It's just weird because, like, I got so much animosity and resentment for going quiet. And it's like, you're hurt because I'm taking care of myself. You're hurt because I didn't communicate that I'm fucking going through a dark night of the soul moment. You're hurt because I don't want to sit in your presence in my sadness and my darkness, and I'd rather sit alone. I feel like that's not fair. I feel like it should be celebrated that I'm doing the work so deeply that I'm only listening to my voice and God's voice and no one else's. Right? Isn't that how it's supposed to be? Like, yes, we have friends for support, but if you're not supporting yourself and someone's wanting you to support them through a tough time and you literally just don't have it in you, and they know you're going through a tough time, like, they know, but they don't know, you know what I mean? Like, you can tell a person how deep your pain is, or like the struggles of your mind and body and soul and just the transgressions that you're going through, but unless they experience the exact situation that you experience, fucking on the money, like the same trauma, the same triggers, if you don't have the same root work that you're doing, it is not really going to be heard and understood. They're just going to be there, but it's like, why do I need your extra body when I can and your extra thoughts? Because my mind is very susceptible to other people's thoughts. Other people's thoughts comes into my mind all of the time, and I'm not even kidding. Like, I can be anywhere and then someone's thought just like passes through my mind, and I have to fucking be like, oh shit, like, that wasn't my thought. Like, I'm so protective of my energy because I know that about myself. And I'm not even kidding. Like, I literally can hear people's thoughts so clearly that it's fucking like, I really wish I can turn my antennas off, but I can't. So I protect that aspect of myself. And when I have done it, hold on, I need to get ready. When I have done it in the past with other people, I got backlash for it, or they were angry at me for not fucking doing it the way they wanted to do. I don't know. Oh my gosh. Did I leave? So I say all of this to say, initially, the people that I stepped away from, and it wasn't like I don't want to be friends with these people. It was like, I need to fucking get away from everyone. And there were friends that understood. They were like, they didn't react negatively, like, oh, you're not talking to me. They were like, hey, I noticed you're not talking to me. And even when I didn't say anything, they didn't take offense. They weren't mad. Like, when I did reach out, when I had the capacity to reach out, they were understanding, because they know that people go through things, and sometimes you have to go through those things alone. Anyone that makes you feel bad for choosing yourself is obviously not your friend. Point blank, period. Anyone that makes you feel bad for choosing yourself obviously doesn't know how to be a friend to themselves. Anyone that makes you feel bad for choosing themselves does not have the space or capacity to be in your life when you're going through something. Anyone that'll reach out to your ex-boyfriend who was the source of your pain and trauma and anguish, and basically calls him to talk shit about you because you stepped away from the friendship, is not your friend. You need to have enough emotional maturity and security within yourself and our friendship to know that, okay, if this person is someone that talks to me all the time, and it's always there, always shows up, always is consistent. Obviously, she might be going through something that I do not understand or can't fathom. That's why I'm not an active participant, especially if said person has children and you don't. You have no idea what a mother goes through. You can imagine what they go through. You can like empathize a little bit. But until you're a mother, until your DNA changes, until your life is completely altered, until everything within you is constantly mirrored and constantly challenged and constantly provoked in a way to bring about newness and a higher level of consciousness where it becomes not about yourself but about this little pure human soul. And then it makes you think about how unpure your soul has become, and it makes you think about, well, what can I do to make my soul pure? And it there's not always space to talk to people every fucking day and check in on them every fucking day and just be present every day. I need to be present for myself every day. I need to be present for my daughter every day. And it's crazy because, like, it's not crazy because it's not, there's no reason you should feel bad ever. Like, there's no reason. So if someone's trying to make you feel bad for that, like, don't. Just be grateful that they're trying to make you feel bad, and then continue to do what's best for you. Because at the end of the day, you doing the inner work, you taking a step back and only focus on yourself, God, and what is a priority to you, and other people's problems should not be your priority unless you're a freaking therapist. And even as a therapist, there's boundaries in how much you take on from a person. So, needless to say, take care of your priorities. Take care of yourself. Get closer to God. Get closer to the voice of God, because other people's voice of God may be different from yours. Other people's voice of God may be guiding them into a direction that has nothing to do with the alignment or path that is meant for you. And there's nothing wrong with that. But don't try to shame people for taking space for themselves, to improve themselves, to give grace to themselves, to give compassion to themselves, to give love to themselves, just because of codependency, just because you feel like you have to be associated with people all the time. And this is speaking from a person that has severe, or had, I will say, abandonment issues. I used to tell my ex all the time, like, oh, I don't want you to abandon me. I don't want you to abandon a relationship. And I ended up abandoning the relationship. Why did I abandon a relationship? Because I was abandoning myself. The whole reason I had abandonment issues in the first place is because I had abandoned myself so long ago. And I was displacing my identity, my purpose, my fulfillment into having these connections and having these friendships and having these partnerships. While it was like good, I was still lying to myself about a lot of stuff about myself. I was still I was kidnapping myself for the sake of getting the validation from someone else. And when I finally was like, no, I want to be fully validated with me. I want to be full up of love, joy, peace. Like the love and joy that I peace that always was temporary with other people, I want it to be fucking consistent. I want to wake up every day and pour that into myself before I even think about pouring it to anyone else. And that was a process that I had to go through. There are some people who are people pleasers. I wasn't a people pleaser. I just was a social, I don't know. I enjoy socializing with people. I enjoy connecting with people, but I also dislike most people. And I definitely don't go out of my way to people please, because I don't give a fuck if someone likes me. I mean, I care, but I don't give a fuck if that makes sense. Like, a part of me cares. A part of me is like, oh, that person doesn't like me, or oh, that person thinks negatively of me. And then the other part of me is like, who gives a shit? You're not going to see that person again, ever again. Like, and if you see that person ever again, it's going to be for 5 minutes, but you're going to be stuck with me for 24/7, 365 for the rest of your life. So how about we focus on us today, right now? I'm sorry I'm sweating. I just did a hot yoga class, but I hope this message reaches someone and resonates with someone. Do not let anyone make you feel bad about choosing yourself, ever. Like, the fuck? We are all here. Our whole purpose, everyone's purpose in this life, is to get a deeper understanding of who they are, to become the highest version of yourself. And you can't become the highest version of yourself if your mind is constantly getting stimuli from other people's problems and bullshits and lives that have nothing to do with you, and then you're trying to figure out how to fix their life and not your own. That's not going to get you anywhere. It's just, I'm grateful that my spirit has always been strong enough and aware enough to scream at me like a fucking banshee when I'm going in a wrong direction. And I'm also grateful for finally being able to listen to my spirit when it's screaming like a banshee, and pulling the plug and disconnecting and going completely away and inverting and doing whatever it takes to get to where I need to be. And I hope you can do the same someday. Anyways, like I said before, I hope this video finds you well. I hope your day is going well. And I hope that the journey that you're on in choosing yourself brings you joy, fulfillment, prosperity, abundance, and peace. Thanks for watching.